Oh! Hello everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're well. The video starts with a couple of clips as to what I'm going to be doing in this video. I did laugh. The first video, I hadn't realised that I'd not done it as speeding up. I'd done it in real time. And then when I went, oh, that was because I'd remembered that I'd left wet things on the chair. And one of the things that I'd left were the trainers that I put in the washing machine. And I was like, oh no, the trainers need to be dry. Unfortunately, my daughter was unwell. When was this? Monday evening. So obviously she had the residential. She did fall into the river, and looking online, you can become unwell if you've kind of ingested any water. And she went right under. So it could have been that. But also how she was in terms of the illness was similar when she's had something allergy wise, and actually very similar to how I am if I eat mussels. But then again, it could be a bug, so we don't really know. But she was sick for hours. It was really awful because she's getting over obviously the weekend. She's absolutely exhausted anyway. Went to school as normal on the Monday. And then with the sickness, in the end, she was being sick and I was having to hold her up because she was so weak. But thank goodness she went to sleep. I should think it was about 10 o'clock. And then she woke up twice asking for a sip of water, which I gave her. But otherwise, she slept really well. So, of course, she's been off school. So, yeah, the whole week sort of changed, really, because she's my priority. So I just reorganised things. So it was quite good. On Tuesday, I had one possible meeting with a learner, but the learner hadn't followed up a number of actions to enable this meeting to go ahead. So I sent an email and said I think it's probably better for us to cancel until these actions have been completed. And the other meeting I'd only scheduled on Monday when I was on call, so I just cancelled that and I'll rebook that in some other time. So for some of the day, she laid on the bed in the loft room and I did some work in my tiny study. And then she also had a little look and did her Duolingo and did a couple of other bits that she wanted to do. So I just, most of the time, she spent relaxing and just sort of recovering, really. It's a lot for your body, isn't it, to go through that when you're already really tired. I did decide that she's well enough for her online flute lesson, so she did that. But I did let the flute teacher know that she's not going to be at bands. And I guess she can't go into school tomorrow in case it is some sort of bug. So we've gone down the route of the 48 hours ruling. So I have got a meeting out of the house tomorrow and my husband's got to go out for an hour. So my mum is going to take her on a little walk, not go too far because she is really tired. So you see me trying to sort out my laundry room. It's no longer the dining room. I've renamed it to the laundry room. No, I'm only joking. It's just once I get on top of the last couple of loads, it'll be much easier. I don't do a whitewash very often. It just so happened that I've got a whitewash and then I've got all the things from our weekend away and then all my daughter's residential things. So I've just got quite a lot to do at the same time. I also dropped a ball today. So I was actually had a meeting this evening, which because I've kind of juggled work, looked after my daughter, done lunch, done dinner, made sure she's okay, etc. I completely forgot. And the lady rang me and said, oh, are you still coming this evening? And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So I've reorganised that for Friday. And then also I couldn't finish off my decorating job. I was supposed, the day that the chain was on the door, so I couldn't actually get in. I then said that I'd go today, which I had to message to say I can't go because we've got sickness in the house and I don't know whether it's a bug. At that stage, I didn't know whether me and my husband were also going to get it. Although the strange thing is, this is the second time that my daughter's been unwell after having sushi. And it's such a shame if there's something in that she's now reacting to, because she absolutely loves sushi. The first time she was unwell, and she's not like, I know she's got her allergies and she's got asthma, but she's not a child which is generally, is unwell, is sick. So she was really, really awfully sick after she had sushi that was bought from a supermarket. I was then going to say the supermarket name, and then I think, you don't know whether they might try and sue me. So she was really, really unwell, and I then smelt the sushi, and the sushi did smell a bit funny. So I thought, maybe the salmon was off, maybe there was cross-contamination. So after that, she was sort of put off, and I was quite pleased, because I thought, I don't have to buy it there anymore, and there is a risk of cross-contamination whenever you're buying something outside of the house. So my husband did all the sushi last night. Brown shrimps and pepper. That was exactly what she asked for. That's what she was looking forward to. So I just wondered whether it could be something in the sushi nori, which I'm hoping not, but it's hard to actually know without testing it again and then risking her being unwell. It's exactly the same as like how she reacted, exactly the same. It's like when I have mussels, it's awful. So I just wanted to say a massive thank you to those of you that have commented on my post, liked my posts. My last 2 videos have done really, really well, and I'm so pleased. And the comments you all add, they're like, you're all so enthusiastic, motivational, kind of really encouraging to me and to other people, which is really lovely. So thank you so much to those of you that take time to add comments. Before I go through some of these lovely comments, I wanted to ask your opinion on something. So I did 2 months where anything my channel made, and I do make a small amount of money from my channel, I donated to Natasha's Allergy Research Foundation. YouTube always operate on a bit of a delay, so I don't have the final amount yet, because I'm waiting for them to finalise the amount for the month of September. But in September, my viewing hours were up so much because so many of you went and looked at old videos and watched my video a bit longer. That all really, really made a difference. So September's was significantly more than August's. So you probably listened to a couple of my videos where I thank you for that. Well, I'm going to do another charity month, and I'd like your input as to which charity I choose. So I'm going to choose, I've got a choice of 2. So the first charity, I'm going to explain a little bit about each of the charities. So the first charity does a lot of work across Norfolk, but in relation to providing food through their food bank. But what they do is, rather than giving the food to people, they'll ask for a very small amount of money. So, for example, someone can go along, pay £5 and get a really big bag of groceries. So that kind of, the idea is that that's helping that family out whilst keeping a bit of their dignity, where some people might feel uncomfortable just getting something for free. They also support single mums, like for things like childcare, when they're trying to go back into education and get qualifications. So they support with that sort of thing. They support people who are recovering from different forms of addiction. So really, they support people who, what I would say, they've slipped through the net. This charity is the net, helping people along their way. So that's the first charity that you could choose. The second charity is a small cancer charity, which again is based in Norfolk. Because they are so small, they don't have access to the kind of funds that some of the really big cancer charities do. And the reason why I like them as a charity is because they do work looking at the ways to prevent cancer and to look at the environment in someone's body as to why the cancer is developing in the first place. So the person who set up the charity has led on areas like looking at diet, looking at the risks of high sugar, and looking at the foods that can help like alkaline the body. So just trying to do that research, which a lot of organisations don't want that research to be done. but of course it can help people now in the future. And a friend of mine who sadly passed away, but when after she got her diagnosis, the charity was very, very supportive to her and to her family. So they're the two choices. I'm not quite sure how we're going to be able to choose between them, because they both make a difference to so many people's lives. But I'm interested in your thoughts and your comments. I'll read through your thoughts and comments, and then I will choose one of the charities, and it'll probably be the month of November. But we'll talk a little bit more about that once we've decided on the charity. So you can see how much my kitchen is keeping clear. So as a couple of you noticed, I managed to put the big deep fat fryer that had kind of given itself a home next to my utensil holder. That's gone into the pantry. The coffee grinder, which did make me laugh that one of you said, has the coffee grinder replaced that? The coffee grinder has gone into the pantry, and I'm trying to keep the work surfaces clear. So at the moment you can see me cooking my daughter's food. Because she had been unwell, I didn't want to give her too much food, but also wanted to give her things that she really fancied. So lunchtime I gave her part of the BRAC diet. I think it's BRAC. So I gave her a little bit of rice, a little bit of chicken, and then just green beans. And then tonight I said, what would you like? And she said, oh, what is the? She can never decide what she wants. So I suggested a couple of hash browns. She really likes fish. Now I fry the fish, and I know that many of you will say, oh, bake it, etc, etc, but it's quite hard to do when I've got to do it all freeform. So that's been just fried gently, and then more green beans. I did 4 hash browns, thinking that she'd just eat 2 and eat some of the fish. And then I let her sit and watch television while she was having dinner as a little treat, because she'd been poorly. And she's got about 1 hash brown and a big pile of beans on her plate, and she said, I can't eat any more. I said, that's okay. I said, see if you can just eat a few of the beans. I said, you don't have to eat all of it, because there were 4 hash browns, and I thought she's got to be careful with her tummy. And then a little bit later, I came back. I think I'd been in the kitchen. I came back in, and she'd got 1 bean left, and she'd polished off everything. And then she asked for dessert, and she has been asking or saying all day, I'm hungry, but I just wanted to be careful, because when your tummy's had a bit of an upset, you don't want to be eating loads and loads of food, do you? Okay, so I'm going to go through some of your comments. So there were a few really detailed comments on my last video. This is it's the second part of my declutter, sort out, clean of the pantry. And what you'll sometimes notice that I do is I'll respond really quickly to the shorter comments, but for the more detailed ones, because there's so many things that I want to ask you and I want to talk about. Also, what I'm trying to do is make sure that I don't repeat myself. So I'm replying to the post, but then I don't like it or love it until I've talked about it on my channel. So then I can see which ones I've talked about and which ones I haven't. Now, I've got some really lovely comments, and one from Cynthia Miller really made me laugh, because she's so right in this. So I talked, didn't I, about how somebody had said, oh, I need to get rid of a lot more, I need to get rid of a lot more. And of course, my channel is called Getting Tidier. I don't find it very easy to be tidy, and then a lot of you have since explained to me that it's all because I need to get rid of more, and then I'll find it easy to be tidier. And that kind of realisation was a bit of a light bulb moment for me. Well, Cynthia has put, hi Emma, the name of your channel is Getting Tidier, not getting rid of everything in one day. I love that comment. You are strengthening your decluttering muscles every time you decide to let go of things. Some people don't have the patience to watch you go along at your own speed. I enjoy watching you work, plus hearing about what's going on in your life. Progress, not perfection, is the name of the game. You are doing well. So thank you, Cynthia, for your lovely comment. Not only have you encouraged me, but you've encouraged other people, because you've got several people who've liked your post. And There's lots of us out there that find it difficult to get rid of certain things. And one thing this has shown me is there's lots of similarities between me and a number of you all. So I love that post. Thank you. Karen Howard said your videos are lovely and real. Real is in capital letters. I love the variety and honesty you express as a lover of memories. It's not just clutter. I watch different channels for different content, from the extremes, I can't pronounce that, of Orcateria. Can you tell me how I've pronounced that incorrectly? To the lovely ladies from Fife, Scotland, to American and Canadian YouTubers helping needy families. Please continue to be yourself and work at your own pace. What a lovely comment. Thank you very much, Karen. Watching till Jesus comes. So this is Stephanie. So Stephanie, thank you for letting me know your name. Stephanie's from Indiana. And she says, I absolutely love listening to your conversation and how you genuinely engage us by reading comments. Oh, I'm glad that you like that. Thank you, Stephanie. B from Australia has commented. How are you, B? I'm sure that you are loving the sunshine in Australia as summer arrives there and winter arrives here. So B has put, what a great video. You were doing a fantastic job with the kitchen and the pantry. Yes, we had Enid Blyton here. I have fond memories reading her books as a child. Oh, that's interesting. So Enid's books did make it all the way to Australia. I don't think they made it in America or Canada though. It's interesting, isn't it, how some books, some authors make it to some places and not others. So B says, please take a moment and be proud of all the progress you have made so far, but also what a lovely online community you have created. I must say it's such a supportive and encouraging group of people who comment, and I truly believe a lot of that is a reflection of what an upbeat, optimistic and persevering person you are. Oh my goodness, B. What a lovely thing to say. Keep up the great work, you are inspiring. I tell myself when decluttering, it's about progress, not perfection. Absolutely. I'm loving that. Kathleen from Canada. Hi Kathleen, I hope you're well. So Kathleen has written a really interesting comment which got me wanting to tell you about so many things. So Kathleen put, when you mentioned Enid Blyton, it reminded me of the popular Canadian author Lucy Montgomery, who wrote Anne of Green Gables. Her personal diaries have been published and I have read all 5 of them. Her life was extremely interesting and made for great reading. One of the places she lived in was a small town called Leaksdale in Ontario, close to where I am living. I booked a tour of her house there and it was an amazing experience to actually walk through all the rooms that she had written about and lived in daily. Her personal life was a series of ups and downs, and to me vastly more interesting than any of her Anne books. If your daughter is a fan of Anne of Green Gables, she might enjoy that tour. I never miss any of your videos and following your great progress. Thank you, Kathleen, for your lovely, lovely comment. You're so supportive. And Brooke has commented in response to that to say, I love the Anne books, but I didn't know about Montgomery's books. Thank you for sharing. Robin Daniels says, I'm from Ontario too, and I never read Anne of Green Gables or the author's real-life story. Now I want to. I read the entire series and still have the Little House on the Prairie books. Robin Daniels wrote back to say, I was forever having my mops etc. in the way. About a month ago I loaded them in a plastic box, much like I saw you did. I put them to the side as they were near the door at the time. It's a life changer. Such a small thing made a huge difference. I'm thinking of Rebecca and Richard too. Wishing Richard a full recovery and strength to Rebecca. With prayer hands. Great video as always. Thank you for letting me know about that. I appreciate that. I can't believe how much space I now have at the doorway of the pantry because of moving all those coats. I've got so much space now, and I very much appreciate you also mentioning about Rebecca and Richard. That's very kind. Thank you for that. So I replied about this. So I just said I think Anne of Green Gables would be lovely for my daughter. I'm going to get the first book from my library. So she's not read those books. And I think probably her age at the moment is probably quite a good age. She's just turned 12. Now, the reason why I loved reading that post, Kathleen, was because my sister was a massive fan of Anne of Green Gables. Massive fan. She read all the books. We watched the programme on TV as a family. And she loved the books. And she loved them so much that my mum encouraged her to write to a newspaper and the editor at Prince Edward's Island. And she said about how much she loved the Anne of Green Gables books. And she asked if anybody would like to write to her in Norfolk, England, like as a pen pal. And she ended up with 3 people that responded. One lady who was quite she was older, so she was like, she'd been retired for quite a long time, and my sister was probably about 19 at the time. Another girl that was very young, so I think she was about like 16 or 17. And then a man who was a similar sort of age, I think he was about a year or so older. The young girl, she stopped writing. She sent a couple of letters and my sister replied back, and then that sort of fizzled out. And the lady kept on, the older lady, she kept on writing for years and years and years. So it was lovely. They shared about their life at Prince Edward's Island, and my sister shared about her life in Norfolk. And then this lady sadly passed away. And the man she kept in contact with, and she's still in contact with him now. So this is like, well, what is it? About 30 years. And the man's got married and had children, so she's heard all about his life and he's heard all about hers. So thank you very much for adding that. I'm also going to contact my sister. I'm going to message my sister and just say, was she aware of these diary books? Because I think she'd absolutely love them. Melissa said, I enjoyed the decluttering, the voiceover and reading the comments. Thank you for that. Lisa Malone said, I enjoyed the footage at the end of the video of your trip. It looked like a lovely getaway. Thank you. We enjoyed it. Zoe. Hello, Zoe. Hope you're well. So Zoe and I have been having an interesting conversation about some of the things we like. So she put, hi, Emma. Like the buttons, I absolutely love shells too. And conkers. I can remember as a little girl walking to school and picking up nature's beauties for the nature table. We'd pick acorns, leaves, spinning jennies. I never heard them called spinning jennies, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Read the ironing board. I got rid of ours before we moved house 3 years ago. I've not missed it. Like you, if I get the iron out 2 or 3 times a year, that's all. I bought a Lush bath sheet and placed that folded on my kitchen side and used that instead. No storing of a huge board, and my towel is simply folded in the airing cupboard. It's a good idea. That would create a lot more space for me. I think someone else said that when I asked my husband about getting rid of the ironing board and he was quiet, we should just take being quiet as agreement. As Zoe's put, love, love, love your videos. You're my cup of tea, Emma. So Zoe obviously waited to the end where I talked about my little thing about how we aren't all everybody's cup of tea. And I did reply back to say, I like conkers too. And I do have pockets full of stones. I walk along and I just see stones that I know that I'll really love. So I pick them up and they stay in my pocket for some time. And I talked to her about marbles because I also like marbles. So Zoe then said, my daughter loves them. Genetic weird loves were like little borrowers. I hope you watch the film, otherwise you'll think I've lost the plot. I absolutely do know the film and the books. My mum read the book to me when I was a child. I tried to read the book to my daughter, but it's quite hard going. I don't remember the language being quite so complicated. It's written in quite sort of old language. But yeah, I love the films. And what's really funny is for a lot of my life, I've always said I had to marry somebody tall, because if I didn't, if I had any children, they'd end up like the borrowers. Because my mum and dad aren't very tall. I'm just average. I'm 5'4.5". That half makes me taller than my sister. But I just laughed and said, if I marry someone short, then we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so my next comment is from Jennifer Lawton. She says, I love your videos. I discovered you a few weeks ago and went back to watch them all. You're doing so well. Jennifer Lawton from Pawtucket in Rhode Island. So as another one, thank you, Jennifer, for letting me know where you're from. And I'm so pleased that you like my videos, and thank you very much for going back and watching them. Every so often, when I want to double check my progress, I do go back on some of my older videos, and sort of the style of them has changed, hasn't it? Because I used to talk a little bit and then leave it over to the music. And then I got so much feedback about the music that people either loved it or hated it, not really anywhere in the middle. They loved it or hated it, that I changed my approach a little bit. But Jennifer, after I finish doing this voiceover, I'm going to be having a look whereabouts Pawtucket, Rhode Island is, and I'm going to be showing my daughter on her globe. We like having a little look at our atlas. She's got a really lovely atlas book, actually. It brings the countries to life. I love it. I love it so much that actually she took it into school when she was in first school, and she showed the teacher, who really, really liked it. So when we left the school, she'd had him for a teacher for 2 years in a row. So we bought him his own book, and he was really, really pleased about it. I bought him one version, which was supposed to be as new condition, and someone's name and address had been written in it. So then I had to buy another one. So we kept the one which had a name and address in it, and we used that one to put stickers of all the different places that we've been. So whenever we come back from being away, we always update our book with our little stickers to where we've been. Okay, so next comment from Stephanie Hook. She says, great video. I like to use 10-minute timers. It's amazing how much you can get done in those minutes. I love a walk along the beach. There's nothing better than the sea air. I agree. It makes you feel really kind of refreshed, doesn't it? I love it. Sally Bombali, 41. So hello, Sally. I'm not sure whether I remember where you're from. I don't remember where you said, but Sally says, I'm looking forward to your sale next year. I hope you do a video organising all the stuff and pricing it up. I'm currently downsizing my stuff as moving house next year, and I don't want to take my excess clutter with me. Good move. I sold a lot of the decent stuff at a car boot sale in August with great success. Oh, good. I recommend sourcing a wallpaper pasting table to set up and display all your most expensive stuff on. I really enjoy doing it. Just don't be tempted to spend the money you make by going around all the other tables at the sale. No, indeed. It took me 2 or 3 goes at decluttering before I could make final decisions on stuff, especially if they had good memories attached. It wasn't easy letting go, and I even felt sad initially putting all the stuff out on the sale table. But once the stuff had gone and you saw the joy on someone else's face buying that item, then it felt great and a big relief. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that that's been such a success for you. It sounds like you've got rid of a lot and made some money for your new place. So that's perfect timing. I'm probably not going to spend too much time looking at the stuff in the pile, because the risk is if I start looking through it now, I'll remember all the things that I've put in the pile and then start deciding that actually I do want some of the items. So I'm not going to look quite yet. When I get closer to the day, when I have my sale, and when I'm in the mood of I need to get rid of stuff in this house, I will then look at it with that mindset and start sort of organising it a bit and putting them in plastic containers and so on. Wenda Jones says, I'd vote for the writing lists thing. I do it sometimes and it works fine for giving an overview of what needs doing. It's very satisfying crossing things out as you do them, or crossing them out if you decide you don't have to do them. Oh, and you can, where you live, put out a sign saying no advertisements, thank you. No fly lady for me, or anyone else's method. I'm more into so-called Swedish death cleaning, which gives me an aim rather than a method. One more thing, I wouldn't worry too much about books for kids. The most important thing is the friends they have, the encouragement they get, and most important of all, you. We want them to be independent thinkers. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I love a list. I love a to-do list. When I looked at the Tom method, I actually decided to do that for quite some time. I'd add myself a list of all the things I was going to do. And I might go back to doing that when my house is a bit clear of things. I just need to focus on key areas still and clear things and get rid of things and make more space. And then I think I need to put in place my little checklists. As for the books, I do know what you're saying. The biggest influence is kind of your parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles and friends. I completely accept that. But I really do have an issue with various different organisations trying to take the innocence of young people. And some of the things that they're just talking about are just wouldn't have been discussed, certainly ever, up until the age of probably I was 16, we wouldn't have had anything like this. So the more you are aware, the more shocking it is, if I'm honest. Jane Mercer said, "Hi Emma, I love the video. I too love beachcombing. I collect sea glass and I've got so many jars full. It's so relaxing and I could spend all day doing it if I had the chance. We are lucky we have such beautiful beaches in England. Keep up the good work. You are making great progress." Whereabouts do you go, Jane? Do you go like northeast? Because I've looked online at the best places for sea glass and it does seem to be the northeast is good because of all the Victorian factories. I always like to go to Seaham. So there's lots of Americans that buy sea glass from Seaham. It's sort of internationally known. Okay, and then the last comment I'm going to go through today is from Linda Vanestel. I'm sorry if I've pronounced your surname incorrectly, but it's Linda from Oregon. It looks like you might need some support under the second shelf. At my past home, I just used a couple of 1x2s pieces of wood and moved them to adjust the items on the bottom shelf. Good point. I think also it'd help if I put it upside down, if I turned the piece of wood over. You should see the books they're giving to our young children in the US. My grandchildren are just entering kindergarten and I've been warned about some books in school. I went to the local library with these titles. Oh my, I can't believe these books. Why do our children need to learn, and Linda has described, in any grade? I'm glad you are reading and looking into your child's reading material. We all need to be vigilant. Let them have a childhood. Great work on the pantry. I agree 100%. And you've got to be the voice. And the fact that you've raised this and you're supporting Linda will mean a great deal to your children, that having that support. For me, I had sort of a couple of things that I complained about a couple of years ago, things that were just, totally unacceptable. And I talked to my mum about them and she was for great support. A lot of people just aren't happy, but people aren't prepared to put their head above the parapet to say anything about it, sadly. And it's also becoming, not just in certain lessons, it's kind of a cross-school approach. And I think there's people in sort of senior positions that are actually, I've got to be careful with the language I use because I always think that might be flagged up, but I think they've got serious problems and they're using their position to influence curriculums, health services, people in religious positions, many areas. Lima, women's shelters often ask for small soaps and shampoos to send on to people who come through their shelters. I can't use soaps at the hotel because of a skin condition, but I always take them, and when I have a Ziploc full, I drop them off. Oh, what a lovely thought. I love that idea. I'm getting towards the end of the video now, and something just to let you know about. I've taken my main credit card, which is also my Tesco Club card, it's all in one. And I can remember deciding to take it out of my purse because the purse was too big for a bag. So you'd think that the cards would be in my bag, but I can't find them. It's two cards actually. I had them together. So somewhere in the house I have got my two cards. But this gets worse. In a minute you will see me frantically looking about everywhere, even in the kitchen. I even look in the fridge at one point to think maybe I've put the purse in the fridge. Because on Monday I went to the supermarket, and because I didn't have my card, I asked my husband for his card. Can I borrow your club card? Because otherwise you don't get the money off for the club card points. So he's given me his card, which is actually a card on my account, but that is the card in his name. So he's given that to me, and I've put that in my purse. Can I find my purse? I've looked everywhere. So not only have I now misplaced my own cards, I've also misplaced my own purse, which has got his card in it. So he was looking everywhere and I was looking everywhere. Do you know, I've not done this for absolutely ages. When I was, new mum, that wasn't when I was pregnant, when I just had my daughter, there were numerous episodes with the purse. For example, put the purse on the roof as I'm putting the bags in the car, get in the car, drive off with the purse on the roof of the car. I then went back to the shop and that hadn't been handed in. Someone had looked through my purse, seen that I was with HSBC, and then took my purse into an HSBC branch. But by that point, I'd already stopped all my cards. So it's a bit of disappointing, but the woman was probably trying to do their best. Another time, I was getting everything in my garden and putting everything away. I vowed that I would never put my purse on the car again, but I put my purse on the car, got my daughter in the car, got my stuff in the car, got in the car myself, drove off, lost the purse on top of the roof. So I don't think I've lost the purse on top of the roof again. I just did a couple of things when she was very, very young. I think the fact that I had no sleep was a big factor. Anyway, I'm now at the end of the video. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your kindness. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.